Hey everyone, I hurt myself again. I'm in a goddamn sling, so please stay tuned and listen to my tale of woe on this slinged up bowl of dude soup.
I like that we can't ever see it. There we go.
Yeah, to get the timing right, Omar explained to me, is challenging and makes his job harder, aside from giving him some white space to work with around that. And then yeah, since the podcast is so long, try to be conscious of all that. And there we go. There's that sweet fade.
Nailed it.
Oh, my kingdom for a deck that can use Alpha Channel. Welcome to Dude Soup. I'm joined by three experts in their relative fields. Marine biology expert, Jacob Fullerton.
Also, formerly youngest Funhaus
Oh, that's
member.
right.
Wait, did I steal that from
I've
you?
been usurped.
Right.
I've been
I'm sorry.
usurped.
That's right.
Youth expert, Alana Pierce. Here to
Expert
tell us
on
all
the
about
Hey,
On the kids.
youth.
Fortnite, have you heard of it?
No.
They like it.
Oh.
Yeah, kids like it.
And then the expert on youth experts, Bruce Green.
That's gross.
Yeah, that's a little
That doesn't
gross.
sound right at all.
Unpack that one in your spare time.
Why does he get marine biologist and we get youth expert and youth expert on youth
He
expert?
cleaned a shark tank full of shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did.
Wait, really?
Literal
Yeah,
shark
he really,
shit.
He really did that.
It's a horrific tale.
It's on video.
I won't tell it right now.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, hopefully you
I'll
can
tell you
it
all
soon.
about it. I'll tell all
I
the
tell my
details.
horrific tale first, then you tell yours. That's the exchange.
Alright.
Okay.
And then Alana and I will kvetch and moan about games journalism. The time-honored tradition. And then Bruce has something from DeviantArt to read. So
Oh, great.
we got a real stacked podcast today. This podcast is
terrific.
brought to you by three sponsors: the Netflix series Disenchantment. You can watch season 1 starting on August 17th only on Netflix. You can get 15% off your Movement order today by going to movement.com/dudesoup. And you can check out this week's Blue Apron menu and get your first 3 meals for free at blueapron.com/soup. Blueapron.com/soup. So, thank you, sponsors.
Have you
Hear
seen
more
those
from them
people
later.
with their blue apron binders?
What?
Oh, like they collect all the recipes?
Greg Miller has one, Lindsay Jones has one, where they get like binders and then they put all of their blue apron, like
Ooh,
it's like a thing that you can like
recipes are
fully
online, though.
organize. I don't
What a
know.
bunch of fucking nerds.
I mean,
Yeah.
there have been times where I've made like a good salad dressing or basically dressing with Blue Apron stuff, and it's something really basic like red wine vinaigrette and shallots and stuff like that. Dice it all up. Sometimes I'll keep a card like that if there's a part that I want to use in something else.
Yeah.
But keeping the full card,
I think it's like a collector's thing. It's like you got to catch them all. It's a Pokemon situation.
interesting.
I
They're
have
all
one
online
of those
though.
binders.
For
Every
adults.
last one of them
Yeah.
online.
Yeah, you
We're
can
like
cover it with
really
your
old
own
adults.
notes, and then
Yeah.
somebody could find it later after you die or something.
All of your little machinations, your
Yeah, it's
alterations.
part of a murder mystery.
Yeah.
I mean, all of my alterations are just triple the garlic and add a lot more salt.
okay.
Because
Seems about right.
that's good eating.
Yeah.
All right, I hit a car. I ran into a car with my motorcycle.
Yeah, what happened?
Lawrence
Yeah.
is riding a motorcycle.
Yeah, first of all, step 1, riding a motorcycle.
I mean, we all knew it wasn't a matter of
No,
if,
yeah.
it was a matter
It's
of
a matter
when.
of
Right. Oh, this is the first time it's
It did
happened?
happen way sooner than I thought it would, though.
Right.
Oh, it didn't for me. I knew it. I knew immediately.
Statistics are usually for 6 months you get into
Yeah.
something, and I was just on the tail end of that. I was
Okay.
actually patting myself on the back a few days ago for being accident-free.
That was the
Now,
problem.
now I can't even reach my back. But I was wearing all the right gear, made it through with separated shoulder.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it's a cartilage between a couple of bones is torn, but it'll heal on its own. All the bones are nice and safe, so everything.
We don't care about how safe you are.
Yeah,
How did it
let's
happen?
Get
Okay.
to the action.
Right, the action. So I was going home on last Thursday, and there was a wreck on the 405 going south. 2 lanes were closed. People are it was already Mad Max territory because people do whatever the fuck they want on California highways if anything goes wrong. So I was lane splitting, which is already dangerous, but I was in a heightened state of awareness, kind of like a cat,
Right.
you know?
say that.
Clearly worked.
A cat?
Yeah, you know how cats get when they're like activated.
I don't know that I've ever described you as a
Activated.
cat. But
No,
You
Lawrence is an
haven't seen me
active cat.
activated.
I have
those-
seen you activated, I think.
Got those
probably.
heckles up.
Yeah, my hackles
Hackles.
were raised. So yeah, lane splitting, but doing slowly because I was like, man, people are already going to be jumping back and forth, which they were. I could see, down the road people were jumping back and forth across the WO, which you're not supposed to do, but whatever, it's California. So I'm cruising on along. Somebody does it right in front of me, which I was kind of expecting to happen. So I slam on the brakes, swerve, they cut to the left, so I go to the right to kind of dodge them. And I'm looking down to make sure I don't like graze their car or anything like that. And when I look up, I just see the back of a car is completely stopped. So that person was probably swerving to get out of the way of a parked car, or just jumping over because they didn't want to slow down.
Yeah.
Thanks, dude. So yeah, I just hit the back of that car. Don't remember specifically how it went down. I do remember like going over the handlebars, hit the road with this shoulder,
Oh, yeah.
But I was wearing a helmet and other protective gear, so nothing
you have
else
a
really got
jacket?
hurt. Yeah, I
Yeah.
had a jacket, so.
How
I
fast
saw
were
a
you
guy not that long ago on a motorbike in a tank top and was just like,
Oh my
idiot.
God.
Just complete idiot.
What a nightmare.
If it happens, you deserve it.
Yeah.
Noah Ray says lane splitting was made illegal last year. Hey, do a Google search. We're in the state of California. It's not illegal here.
It's not illegal?
Nope.
As far as I know, no.
Oh.
It's absolutely not illegal in
People do it
California.
all the time.
I would have thought it was super illegal.
No.
Huh.
It's totally fine here. The only stipulation is you can only split between the two leftmost lanes.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And if there aren't two lanes, you can't lane split because otherwise you're
Right.
riding next to oncoming traffic.
Whenever I'm in traffic, people seem to be pretty good about like at least moving a little bit when motorcycles are coming down that side too.
I try. When I see them, I
Yeah.
try. I
Yeah,
try
some
and
people
move.
move out of the way, some people move into the way. It's an interesting dynamic for sure. But yeah, some people move out of the way. People try to make it safe, except for the people that cut across without signaling or warning or anything. So yeah, I get up. I hit the engine cutoff, whatever, on my bike. Pick it up, start trying to move it over. There's some dudes in a truck who help block traffic, so me and the person I hit. Oh, first of all, I run up and ask her if she's okay. She told me
The person you hit.
Yeah.
They're in a car, right?
Yeah, they were in like a Jeep.
So
Yeah,
they
no,
were fine.
Yeah, absolutely fine. There was like some scrapes on the bumper. I run up and I say, "Are you okay?" She says, the first thing she says, "There's a baby in the car." I say, "Well, are they okay?" And you know, I was in a motorcycle, so I'm like,
So the answer is yes.
"You guys are probably okay."
Yeah.
So she's like, "You want to go over to the shoulder and exchange information?" Of course. So I go over, try to pick up my bike, and already I'm like, "Oh fuck, something's messed up with my shoulder," but it's one of those situations where no one else is there. Maybe I should have just left it. I don't know.
Oh, you still have to ride home.
Sorta. Yeah, I could have had it towed, but I've also been absolutely fucked by tow companies.
Yeah.
That shit is borderline illegal. Basically, they'll listen to scanners, and if you call for a tow, other companies will try to rush to show up first.
Oh my God.
And then they
awesome.
obviously
Wow.
aren't beholden by the quote that you got.
Yeah.
So they'll take your car to whatever lot they want, and then they'll charge you like $90, $100 a night for storage.
Wow.
Yeah, so if you don't get it out of there right away, and they don't tell you any of this because you've just been in a car wreck, so they just give you a
Right.
piece of paper to sign, and then, so yeah, I didn't want to have to deal with that again. Anyway, get it over to the shoulder. The shoulder does, or the shoulder of the road. My shoulder does something pretty funky when I try to pick my bike up because that shit's heavy. But we get it over just fine. Exchange information. The poor lady that I ran into was super. What's the word? Reasonable. She was like, "Yeah, I saw that guy cut you off, and I saw you were just like buzz into my car." But she said her child was fine, and then she looked at the bumper and there were like 2 scrapes on it. So she was like, "Well, I guess, do you have a shop you want me to take it to?" I'm like, "I have no clue." So she heads on her way. The guys who stopped traffic are gone, and then I'm just sitting there on the side of like rush hour traffic, shoulder's starting to hurt really bad,
Oh.
but the bike still rides. So I do ride it home.
Oh, man.
As carefully and quietly as I can. But this is also like, things are getting real bad on the freeway for
Yeah,
one.
it's really busy. That was a Friday night, right?
It was Thursday.
Thursday.
Oh, Thursday
night.
night, yeah.
But yeah, so here, like I have to go south, and every road going south is going to be slammed. So I'm like, I didn't know what my options were. If I call a rideshare or something like that, they're going to be stuck in traffic to get to me.
Yeah.
And then to get me out of it. And then it was going to be like hours until I could get to a doctor.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't call an ambulance either because it doesn't necessitate
Warrant,
that.
yeah.
And it's also expensive. So yeah, I'm just like, well, shit, cool. So I'm riding back, through rush hour traffic, and it's weird how that stuff really changes your perspective.
Yeah.
Everyone else is just like hungry or needs to use the bathroom, and I'm like, well, I kind of want to throw up right now.
Yeah.
Ugh.
My arm doesn't quite work perfectly.
Yeah.
So split screen, yeah, you're right. This is disclosing potential lawsuit things. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not. I am in the state of California, and I've thought a lot about that. I am just gonna throw it out there for whatever my perspective was, and man, if she
don't
claims
think
like
you'll
neck
get
pain, that's gonna
sued.
be real intense because
Yeah,
I'm on a
you should be
motorcycle.
all
and
right.
It's pretty low speed, but whatever.
Yeah.
Given that I walked away from it, for someone else to claim injury would be pretty special. But hey,
Yeah.
it's California. Anyway, so yeah, I get the bike home, and then I'm like, well, time to go to urgent care because I'm pretty familiar with that. So I call up a ride share, go to the nearest urgent care. I get there, it's a 24-hour urgent care.
That's good.
But then I bang on the door, and the guy like buzzes me in, and he's like, "You here for urgent care?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, our urgent care hours are over."
What?
Yeah, I didn't know that could happen.
What?
What time is it?
This was like 7 p.m.
What?
No, like 6:30.
What?
Yeah. But then I was like, okay, well, and then he's like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "Well, I think my shoulder might be dislocated." And he said, "Oh, they don't do that at urgent care.
Where do they do that?
ER. You have to go to the
Oh,
ER."
Okay.
Wow.
Was this a different urgent care than last time?
Yes.
Okay.
Last time?
What was it, like a
When he fell off
month
the
ago?
roof.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it was a different urgent care. I'm actually
Yes,
not
when he
sure.
fell off
Great. You walk in there like, hey, you're back.
Yeah, this guy. Yeah, apparently, if your shoulder is dislocated and have to pop it back in, they will give you some pretty heavy painkillers first.
Oh, gotcha.
Which is nice of them.
Yeah.
Was
but-
it dislocated?
No.
Okay.
It's hard to tell. It was already like really swollen and painful at that point. So then I'm like on the side of the road next to a Chipotle.
Did you
Like-
get Chipotle?
Did you get
No,
Chipotle?
I didn't. Sorry, Bruce. I was really hungry too. I was
Should've
like,
done it.
I'd been trying to cut calories, and I was anyway.
Chipotle can be healthy.
I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't
Rice,
an
beans,
idiot.
chicken is just fine.
You're right. I should have had some Chipotle.
You should have.
But
Mistake number 2.
only two. The only problem is also like, I'd never been to an emergency room before. I didn't
Oh.
know how to find one, so I opened up
Yeah.
Google Maps and punched in emergency room, which doesn't bring up emergency room.
Sounds like the name of a cool bar.
Yeah, basically. It
The
brings up
emergency room.
yeah, bodegas and stuff. So I had to call a place that was in like Torrance and ask them where a hospital was near me.
Really?
Yeah, and then they could actually source them for me because
Usually it should just be literally just a Google search, or even if you call 911 or 411.
Yeah.
Or 911 actually. 911 will do it too.
I didn't want to call an
tell you where-
emergency
You
number.
get fined for calling 911?
I called the police non-emergency number and walked through their like robocall list.
You can do that.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't a human, and I was just, my arm was throbbing. I was like, please just tell me where to go get fit. Anyway, eventually figured it out. Another urgent care told me where a hospital was that I could go to. So I went there and met a very interesting cast of characters, because boy, the ER has got some people in it. So I go to check in.
They're all like you.
Essentially, yes. Well, no, you want to talk about perspective, man.
10 Lawrence clones.
I thought I was having a rough afternoon, but not compared to a lot of those people. And they had to wait too.
I had a friend who worked in a hospital basically over like a summer period. He would go and work in a hospital. And most of what would happen was he would have to like clean up basically just tons of blood after someone had had a quad bike accident. And there was one time that a 7-year-old girl came in just having limbs gone,
Oh
and he
my
had to clean
God.
up after it, and they had mandatory counseling for that stuff. And he was like, at least you have that, because they're like, no one is going to be okay after what happened today. Like, someone needs help. He's like,
Goodness gracious.
he got paid tons of money, but it's like, I mean, I wouldn't want to do that. It sounds
Yeah.
terrible. He basically only had to work that 6 months and then didn't work for the rest of the year. But it's like, good, no,
the
no,
trade-off.
Trying to
fine.
get away from
Oh.
it, yeah. Oh yeah, so I get to the ER. They hand me my like check-in paperwork. I sit down and I start filling it out, and then a girl sits next to me is on the phone, and the very first thing she says is, "Yeah, I think I just had a miscarriage." Like
shit.
basically
Ooh.
in that tone too. So I'm trying not to react because, well, she didn't seem too bothered by it, but I was just, okay, let's keep filling this out. And then like I turn that back in and I sit back down and wait, and then I look and I notice everyone's wearing a surgical mask except for me.
Uh-oh.
That's weird.
That is weird.
Yeah.
Hallucinating?
Patient 0?
There was a gentleman in that room that everyone was trying desperately to not sit near.
Was he like? Do you look like a homeless man, or do you look like a?
He was mess.
Like a
zombie?
Not quite.
Like a-
yeah,
like a
zombies better.
druggie.
Okay.
Yeah.
He wasn't present. But yeah, nobody wanted to be next to him. And sometimes he'd get up and start walking somewhere, and an orderly would come back and very clearly but decisively say, "Sir, you need to sit down. Just sit down right here."
Oh, man.
And then when he sat in a different chair, I heard somebody say, "Oh boy, we got to sterilize that chair." So then a dude came out and just
What?
unceremoniously started spritzing it down. Yeah, I'm not sure what was going on there.
Whoa.
This sounds like the start of a Stephen King book.
Oh shit, maybe. I'm sorry, guys. I just gave you all stand disease.
Did he touch that Austin bat?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe.
I
Yeah,
like
we
that.
Rabies.
Yeah, the rabies bat.
rabies bat. Everyone was like taking selfies with.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, just I guess in case people don't know, apparently there was a cute little bat that was hanging out during the day near RTX, and everyone
Yeah.
thought it was the cutest thing. Except a bat out during the day didn't really trigger anyone's like warning
Nope.
system.
It wouldn't have
Turns out it
triggered
had
me.
rabies.
I would have been like, oh, it's just a bat.
It was a pretty
I would have
cute
taken
bat.
a picture with
friendly
it.
bat.
But
Yeah, they don't normally do that. And when animals do things they don't normally do, odds are there might be
sick.
something
They got
very wrong.
rabies.
Yeah.
So if you pet the bat, go get checked for rabies or have a shot.
That's crazy.
Oh yeah, so then they invite me back to sit in another chair, which I do for like another hour.
invite you back.
Yeah. Oh, they took my blood
Like his
pressure.
ways. Or,
Yeah. And while I'm sitting back there, some dude who's like wearing board shorts and nothing else, like cool California bro, he just like gets up and walks out of a room and walks out the exit. But he was like dragging cables and cords and stuff.
What on earth?
Yeah. I'm like, well, that's weird, but I'm not a doctor. And then like an orderly walks out of the hallway and looks around and like is like, where did he go? And I pop up and said he left out that way. And then dude is like super confused, but he's like, well, okay. And then a second later, they're ushering him back in because apparently he just got up and like pulled his IV thing out.
my God.
And just decided to walk out. They were like, you're dripping blood. You can't be doing this. And then it was weird because he started off calm. He was basically like, listen, I'm very anxious. I have claustrophobia. I just needed to get out. And everyone who worked at the hospital was just like super chill about it. They were like, yeah, no problem. You just, you got to let us know. And like we have some food coming for you if you feel bad. And then like he got more and more panicked as everyone else was being more and more calm, which was really odd. Because then it started
This
escalating.
sounds like a Twilight Zone episode.
A little bit. Yeah, he was going off about how now he had asthma and he just needs some air and why are you guys keeping me here? And then everybody kept saying, we're not. We have a sandwich coming, and if you want, you can stay for the sandwich or you can go. And then he'd just be like, no, I can't stay in here anymore. It was very strange. I guess maybe he was going up on something while they were trying to calm him down.
Probably.
So yeah, there was that guy who like just kept screaming at people in the hallway. Then I got into the room where I got to sit in a bed and watch Perfect Murder without any sound. So that's exciting too.
Nice.
And then they
Didn't get Chipotle though. So.
not yet.
What?
No food.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Still very hungry at this point.
Still hasn't eaten
They're
since
gonna
last
bring you-
Thursday.
Where was
They're
your
gonna bring you
sandwich?
food, right?
Oh no, that would cost too much money. I don't know. They
Yeah,
just
at
checked
least
me out. and kicked me out.
$60 for a sandwich.
At least.
Yeah.
But yeah, they so there's 2 beds a room. I sit down for a while, and then they like usher another dude in. He gets down onto a bed. He doesn't look good. He's shambling, head down. No one looks good in the ER basically. And then I hear them like exchanging notes, like the orderly and the doctor, and they're like, yeah, we found him in a bush. Fuck, man. Apparently, he then came to and described his symptoms. He's like, yeah, just crazy vomiting, diarrhea, nausea, all of that. And he's like, this is normal. I get this for 32 hours. I'm puking and shitting, and then it's just over.
Oh, so he's okay.
What?
Yeah, good for
I guess he was in the middle of one of his spells where he just vomits and shits everywhere.
Sounds like he might have a disease or
Yeah.
some sort of infection.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not normal.
He kept getting up and just kind of wandering out. And then he'd be ushered back to the bed and they'd say, please stay here. We're bringing you like water. Please stay here.
Yeah.
And he'd get up and wander away again. Anyway, so apparently they dealt with me pretty quickly. I just had to wait for the machine to arrive. So now x-rays come to you, which is pretty cool.
No.
There's a giant fucking Star Wars space laser that they wheel into the room.
Cool.
They throw the plate behind you and then they just shoot it at the area and then they get the readouts that way, which is pretty badass. So that was pretty easy. So they take their x-rays, they're like, well, you have no broken bones, you just have a torn cartilage, that'll repair itself. You just have to ice it, keep weight off of it, we'll give you a sling, you're all good to go. I was like, whew, I can tell, like Stephanie was on another state of anxiety. She's usually
Yeah.
operating at like a 10 and somehow she broke the meter. She's,
That's Lawrence's girlfriend.
yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
yeah, she cares a great deal for me and also is prone to worry. So those 2 things intersecting is never a good thing. And I didn't want to, I don't know, maybe you guys can help me with this. When you know somebody's going to worry, but you know it's not a big deal, or rather you're pretty sure it's not a big deal, is it okay to not tell them until you know the full breadth
Oh, I see
of
what
what
you're-
you're
I see what
talking
you're
about?
saying.
To prevent them from like running away and worrying about things too much.
Depends how mad they'd be.
Well, it's not
I
even
guess
mad.
so.
It's just like worry. It's concern.
It's a good
not
question.
anger.
That's a really good question. I don't know the answer.
Yeah, I don't either.
Because then you're kind of making decisions for someone else about how to. Yeah, I don't know. I worry. I have started to worry about that because I care for her and I don't want her to worry on doing
Yeah.
it.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, it depends how mad she would be that you hadn't told her immediately.
Yeah.
It's a balance, right? It's like, would she be super mad and feel betrayed? Because then that would be bad, or would she am I just avoiding anxiousness?
I guess it
That's a
depends
good
on
question.
what you know as well. Like if you don't know anything, then maybe you have nothing to actually say.
What you shouldn't do is lie.
Yeah, don't do that.
That's sort of the bottom line. Like, I don't know.
Pretty general life advice.
Yeah, I don't know if you've asked, like, if she asked, she was like, "All right, were you in an accident?" or like, "Are you okay?" Then you say, "Yes,
Yeah,
I'm
you kind of
okay.
have to say.
I'm at the
yeah.
I'm at the emergency room making sure that I'm okay," or something like that. You
Yeah,
know,
the way I handled
If
it
I
is
was
like,
in an accident like that, Blaine would have a panic attack. Like
Yeah.
he would freak out a lot.
so, but you would probably want to wait to tell him until you were checked out. A doctor said you're totally fine. You can go back and
I
say.
think I would, yes. I think I would wait, yeah.
I waited to tell my mom.
hopefully
Yeah.
Blaine's watching right now because now
Get
he
some text
knows.
be like, oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Right.
Well, I haven't been in an accident.
Not yet. Not
that
ever.
I've told you about. No, I really haven't.
Oh yeah, so they basically do the X-ray. They tell me I'm clear. They write me some prescriptions for some. Like, this is something I've always been confused for. Why do they write you a prescription for kind of stronger ibuprofen? I can just take 3 of them. That's so weird. I don't know. I don't get it.
Probably because they don't want you taking a shitload of ibuprofen.
It also probably digests differently.
Yeah.
Oh, it might. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
But one thing that always really annoyed me was when I had to get one wisdom tooth out, and it was really bad. Like, it was infected. It was a terrible experience.
Man.
I just got one out, and then I had to go to the pharmacy to get the drugs, and it took 40 minutes. So I'm just sitting there with a swollen face with blood coming out of my mouth, just sitting there in pain for 40 minutes. Like, please just give me drugs.
Yep.
And then I went back to work.
Oh, nice.
Nice. How could you concentrate on anything work-related? Huh. Well,
Yeah, I was there till 6.
Damn, well
Just like,
done.
okay, back to work.
Till 6.
Yeah, were you in any videos that day?
No, thankfully. No.
oh yeah, so while I'm out in the hallway, got my x-rays done, basically gave me a clean bill of health, well, clean-ish. They're trying to find my chart, which has disappeared. And that all gets sidetracked because the guy who was sitting next to me apparently wandered out into the hallway and collapsed somewhere. So there.
This is the poopy vomity guy?
Yes.
Yeah.
So there
Was he the one who needed to be sterilized?
No, 2 separate people.
Okay, different guy.
So they all rush to find him. They bring him back in like a wheelchair, and boy, he had an incident. He had a poo incident.
Oh, no.
Somewhere.
Smell?
Yeah. Pretty
that's
rough.
So, what a surprise, he had a poop incident. He said it was fine.
He said it would pass. I don't think he was in the middle of it not being fine.
Maybe that was the passing. He
Yeah.
just shits himself.
Yeah.
And it has
you are
passed.
literally passing it.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, in the middle of all that, basically the doctor basically remarks like, "Wow, you're very pleasant." And I'm like, "Well, I have the luxury of being, I'm not shitting my brains out right now."
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how. I mean, there's been a lot of stuff about that, about people that work jobs like that at ERs and stuff like that.
Don't get paid enough.
Yeah, remotely don't get, or not even remotely get paid enough. But how to even deal with, just having to deal with people who are having their worst day all the time.
True.
Yeah, that's why I always try to be, I don't know, nice when I'm in those situations, because I feel like just a smile or somebody that's not freaking out or misdirecting all their anger at you would be
That would be a
appreciated.
weird environment to work in where everyone is always stressed and panicked, and like you have to deal with family members who are stressed and panicked. Like, that'd be tough.
Yeah.
Typically, those people are like the nurses and doctors and stuff like that are the best at handling stress because they don't ever have to, like, they never get stressed out about that stuff because they deal with it so often.
Or they wouldn't get stressed about basic stuff because they see terrible shit happen to other people every day.
That, I mean, like, I've known a lot of nurses and doctors and people that just like emergency crews, and that's kind of the way they are.
Yeah,
like,
in
it's
that
very rare
profession-
that they stress out about stuff.
Yeah, in that profession, it's like you can't be stressed out about
No.
things, or you can't perform your job right.
Yeah. You have to be calm and collected and know exactly what to do when something happens. So usually those people are. Although I have seen it come out in other ways where they get really upset at tiny little things about, like, just in life, which it makes sense to me because they need to blow it off somewhere, right?
That's true.
So.
This is the coolest comment ever. Carefree Llama in the chat says, "I have the same brittle bone disease as Mr. Glass, so I'm definitely used to the ER. It was funny to hear somebody who isn't used to it describe it." I don't know. That was the first time I've been in an ER that I remember.
Yeah, Lawrence, you're not used to that by now?
No, I don't go to the ER.
Okay.
Sturdy.
Everything I mess up is usually
brag about it,
pretty
all right?
superficial.
Sorry, you go to urgent care.
I'm kind of indestructible.
I've never been to urgent care.
Never?
Me neither.
Oh man, it's
don't have it
becoming a
in
routine
Australia.
for me. Oh, that's fair.
Yeah.
When
I
you walk-
tried to one time when I was in Boston, and they wouldn't take me because I didn't have insurance there. It was like I had California insurance, and I was like, but I'm really sick. They were like, well, like, oh boy.
Yeah, what were
Have fun dying.
What kind of sick was it? What were you going
I
there
was
for?
vomiting.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
It was pretty bad,
Oh, man.
It was during PAX, too, and it was just like, well,
Oh, God.
I guess I just,
Lawrence, are you-
again, keep working.
Are you tired of being in hospitals?
I'm tired of being injured. Yeah.
Do you just have bad luck?
I want to go back to the gym. No. I earn every single shitty thing that happens to me. Definitely don't. I don't know. In this case, it's hard for me to imagine a series of events that could have prevented what happened from happening.
I
Right.
mean, other than you not buying a motorcycle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Other than just not being on a motorcycle.
That's why I don't have one.
Even then, it would have been a fender bender, but whatever. But yes, it's fundamentally not safe. Yeah. No. Actually, as I was leaving, the doctor was like, "Hey, just want to tell you, all the nurses and doctors around here hate motorcycles."
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
I was going to ask you, did you learn a lesson? And I'm not saying you should have. I'm just asking if you did.
Just out of curiosity.
Yeah.
The lessons I learned yes, are on a motorcycle, having one backup plan isn't enough. So when I was doing motorcycle safety training, they said, you have to have an escape, no matter what. Always have an escape. And I did. I had a little pocket next to me that I was going to dive into if something weird happened. But that wasn't enough. You need two. Yeah. You need a fallback if that one doesn't work out, and be ready to use it right away. So it's not thinking one step ahead, it's thinking two. Yeah. Which, is what I'm going to do. Second lesson is I need, and Chad, one of the guys who does a lot of biking in the office, has told me repeatedly, I need a better motorcycle jacket. There were ones that have armor plates in them.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah, it makes them really bulky and hot, but
totally worth it.
Yes, they're absolutely worth it. No, he recounts multiple times tales of people who just a minor accident, same old thing. They go down and their ankles just evaporated. Swish, just gone. And then it's just 10 pins in your foot forever. It hurts every time the weather changes. That's just the rest of your life. And he's done a very good job of convincing me that I need to get gear. I just have to
get a bike.
Go fucking do it.
Not gonna do it.
Are you gonna get a car?
I can't afford a car. I could barely afford a bike, dude. What? I don't know what to do. I couldn't even afford the bike, really. I'm still paying it off. Well, kind of. I mean, I put it on a card, but.
When you were walking out of the ER with your shoulder injury, were all the other really fucked up people making fun of it? Look at that guy.
I'm gonna say yes, but no, they were all too. Everyone's so tuned into their own problems.
Yeah.
They don't really look around much. Most people are just buried in their phones trying to make the minutes go by until they can get any kind of relief.
Right.
But my question to all of you guys, as a result of this incident, in your life, when did some tragedy befall you that you fundamentally believe could not have been avoided? Aside from just rewriting the last months of your life. And I'll leave you on that. You guys can ruminate on that because I got a bit of an ad read.
Oh, nice.
So we've got, this podcast is sponsored by Disenchantment, which is a show created by Matt Groening, creator of The Simpsons and Futurama. Disenchantment is a show coming to Netflix, if you're watching this on YouTube, tomorrow, this coming Friday. It's placed in a medieval fantasy world. It is an ensemble comedy featuring three main characters, Princess Bean, Elfo, and Lucy, who meet, form an unlikely trio, and go on adventures together. I'm really excited about this. A lot of people have fond memories of Futurama and shows like this. This was actually being done by the same animation studio, or Rough Draft. The people who did Futurama are also working on this, and then same lead creator. Also features the voice talents of Abby Jacobson as Princess Bean. She's from Broad City. Eric Andre will be doing Lucy. Nat Faxon as Elfo. And then some other luminaires such as John DiMaggio, has been done voice work for years and years. Billy West, Noel Fielding, and Matt Berry caught my eye too.
That's a good cast.
Yeah,
it's a really good cast.
A lot of good names in there. I'm really excited to watch it because Futurama was great, Simpsons was great. And anyway, watch Disenchantment if you're watching on YouTube on Thursday. It starts tomorrow, August 17th. So check it out. I'm excited to watch it. Can't wait. I hope the whole thing is just dropped at once so I can binge. Although I never did finish season 4 of Futurama, like the renewed season.
Real good.
Was that 4?
Was it 4, 5? I don't know.
It was later than that. I don't know.
All the movies counted as a season, so I think it was 5.
Oh, okay.
Got it.
Yeah, I only saw 2 of the movies too.
Mm-hmm.
They were good. Yeah. It's making movies out of animated series is always such a weird
because it's just the same thing.
Basically, it's
South
just as
Park
long
did a
as
pretty
it's
good job
long.
of that.
Okay, anyway, Jacob, I'm curious. You don't have to have a tale of woe, but I'd like to hear it if you do.
There's one thing I can think of. This is when I was really, really young. I might have been 5 or 6 or something. I got a brother who's 4 years younger than me, and he was just a little toddler at the time. And so I don't remember. I remember it specifically because I think it was a little bit scarring. But he was a little toddler, and we came back home from somewhere. So from the garage to the house, there's a step. That's a normal thing, And my brother had a screwdriver in his hand.
Oh, no.
And he was running with it. He called it his school driver. Very cute, very adorable.
He was running with it.
Yes, he was running with the school driver, doing a little toddler walk. And going into the house, he tripped and fell forehead first into the screwdriver.
Oh, shit.
Story's giving me anxiety.
It didn't puncture his head.
Oh, that's good.
It hit his skull and made a lot of bleeding happen.
So did hit and scrape, Or
I didn't really see this part. I
Okay.
just like saw the fall, and then there was lots of blood, and he had a screwdriver in his hand. And I remember like my mom freaking out or something, and we're like, "Oh, we got to go to the hospital." He just stabbed himself in the forehead with a screwdriver because there's so much blood you couldn't really see what kind of damage it was. So yeah, we went to the hospital, and they're just like, "Oh, he's okay. He just was bleeding a lot, and he just has like a little Phillips head mark in the middle of his forehead." I don't think that's still there anymore.
Oh,
I'll need
man.
to check.
I ran into a pole when I was like 6, and I have a permanent scar on my forehead from it.
Oh wow!
Because I ran like smack into the middle of a corner of a like.
Why did you run into a pole?
yeah. Any context on that? Nope.
You just charged
I
right
don't even remember it.
You think it was an animal?
I think I was like chasing someone in a store and just
okay.
smacked into a pole. Like I really don't know, but
I love kids.
Yeah, you don't remember what you do.
Only
when-
for
as
that,
a kid,
yeah.
you just like charging.
happened.
You just run at
Yeah.
things, and then hopefully it works.
see what happens.
Yeah.
So it didn't befall me, but I just remember that happening, and I don't know. It's just one of those things where it's like it just happened to be in the wrong place. He was holding it like
Yeah.
here or something as he went down.
Could have
or-
been so much worse. Though.
Yeah, all he had to
Way
do was lift
worse.
his leg a little bit. Yeah, he could have got the eye or
Could have
something.
gone, well, that could have gone all the way
True.
into his skull.
Or his eye. That's terrifying.
Yeah.
That is some Final Destination shit.
It
Yeah,
is.
would've killed
Exactly.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it totally would have killed him. Yeah.
So that was pretty fortunate how that turned out.
Yeah, I guess all things considered, could have been worse, wasn't?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Very preventable thing, but
Yeah, don't
It
run
happened.
while holding things that you could,
yeah,
just
don't run with school drivers.
Yeah.
Who are you talking
Kids.
to?
I'm talking to them.
Omar specifically.
Omar, you hear me?
Don't do it.
We got a lot of screwdrivers in this office.
Alana, do you have a tale of woe?
Well, kind of. I think this is just an interesting story, and I'm thinking about it because of traffic accidents. So, sort of off topic, but I had a car back in Australia, and the guy that I was dating at the time would like borrow the car, and because I was in the games industry in Australia and I lived in Brisbane, the games industry's in Sydney, I very often had to travel. So I was in Sydney all the time, and I would let him borrow my car. And I always thought he was a bad driver, but it like never really thought about it very much. Got back from Sydney one day, he picked me up from the airport and was just like weird. He was just being very strange. Something was weird, and I was just like, something is going on, but I don't know what it is. He dropped me home, left my car, and then I think he went home. And I later figured out there was like a ton of damage to the front of my car, like a ton of it. It was like, okay, something has clearly happened here that he did not tell me about. And he had said, I was like, why didn't you tell me about this? He was like, oh, someone just like reversed into your car when I was parked or whatever. And I was like, you know what? I don't believe you. Like, I straight up, I don't believe that's what happened. I think you would have told me immediately if that happened. He had also lied about a ton of other stuff. So I was like, I straight up don't believe you. And he was really mad at me for saying that. Like, yelled at me, was like,
was mad.
why don't you believe me? You know,
Oh,
just like,
no.
I'm going to let it slide, but I don't believe you. And then I got a thing in the mail that was a picture of the car accident that he had caused.
Oh,
and it was a $1,800 fine that I had to pay because it had the license plate, and it was like a literal camera image of the car accident. And I was like, okay. So he like got mad at me for saying that he had lied about this thing, damaged my car, which was the most expensive thing that I owned, and I had to pay the bill. So I called him and was like, hey, you owe me this money and we're breaking up. Like that was the end of that relationship.
That was the end
I
of
was
the
like,
relationship
well, because
too?
how would I ever
Good-
trust
good
anything
job.
he'd ever
Yeah,
say
good
ever
job.
again? It was
That
just
was
like,
right,
I am
yeah.
super done. But it was like a thing that I turned out I had to pay for it and he had to pay me back because he had also lied to me the whole time about having his driver's license.
Jesus
He
Christ.
didn't have his license at any
Oh my
point.
God.
And I was just like, yeah, sure, he has his license. Like, why would you like?
How long did you date
What
this
kind of
guy?
loser would not
I
have
think
his
like
license?
a year.
Okay.
Yeah, and he
long
lied to me about
time.
like his job.
That's a
and,
long time.
Yeah, loads of stuff. It
Good
was
for you for sticking in there and trying it out.
I didn't know. This is the thing. Like,
Yeah.
I would call him a pathological liar. Like, I think he's a textbook pathological liar where he was like, just anything that sounds impressive, he would say it. But when someone is like that, you don't realize until a lot of stuff happens. And he had told me he was a professional rugby player, and I was like, sure, whatever. And he would leave my
Whatever.
apartment dressed in rugby gear, and then I found out he wasn't playing. So like there was one time he'd stayed with me for like a week, and he was like, oh, I was like, don't you have rugby at some point? You haven't been. And he was like, oh yeah, I have to go tomorrow. So he puts on his rugby gear and I drop him at the train station. He was never playing rugby.
So where was he going?
Just sitting there,
I think he just went to the train station.
just
He was like,
following through with the lie.
why didn't you just tell me you were lying? It was insane.
I guess that's when you
Yeah.
know they're pathological, and they just like they're just gonna follow through with it.
Well, I mean,
no
it means
matter
that he
what.
had bought rugby gear
Oh, absolutely.
to bring to my apartment to pretend to play rugby.
and
It
sat
was
at the train station in his
insane.
rugby gear.
Yeah,
Was
and
it-
I only caught him out about lying for the rugby because I had to lie to him. I was like, hey, I met someone on your rugby team and they said you don't play rugby. And he was like, what was his name? And I was like, Matt.
That's a double bluff. You're
I
kinda
don't know.
was
And then
a
he was
good
like,
idea.
"You're right. How long have you known?" And I was like, "I'm right."
That was a really good idea.
Yeah.
Man, well done.
Because I was like, how else do you catch someone? And then
Like
he'd be
that.
like, "But you saw me in my uniform. You dropped me at the train station." Like,
So-
it sounds insane.
Was the gear used or was it just pristine the whole time?
I didn't pay attention
Yeah,
because you don't.
have no reason to.
What
Right.
what you should have said was, "I'll go and watch you play rugby. Let's go."
I had asked to,
Oh,
like
man.
multiple times.
Oh,
There's always
was
a
there
reason not
always an
to.
excuse?
There's always a
Okay.
reason not to.
Yeah.
That was
So
always
Put
like,
your
"Oh,
arm
not
around his
today."
shoulder and he's like, "Oh, we're gonna practice." Like, "I'll go watch. I'll go. I'll
Yeah.
be there. Let's do it."
I love
Yeah.
that he would take you to an empty field and be like, "What?
Yeah.
Where's everybody else?"
Exactly.
Oh,
Yeah.
practice.
Practice was canceled.
Looks at
it
his
turns
phone.
out.
Oh, I got canceled. Dang.
Well, there was one time where I was studying with a friend because I was at uni at the time as well, and he knew that I was studying with this guy friend. It's like my oldest friend that I've had for a really long time, and he called me and was like, "Oh, I got in trouble at rugby tonight. The coach was really mad at me." He was just like giving me this sob story that retrospectively I was like, he was clearly mad. I was hanging out with a dude
Yeah.
and called me to make me feel bad about a rugby team he was never a part of. It's just like, oh my God.
Man, what an
Yeah,
amazing
it
liar.
was insane.
I'm so
Wow,
curious
thanks
to
a lot.
know.
I think
what,
pathological liars are just like you would never know until it happens, and then you're
Yeah.
just like, how? Why? Like that's the biggest thing is always, why did you lie about any of this? If he had been
Yeah.
like, I got in a car accident, I'll pay for it, I would have been like, cool. Like,
Yeah.
all right, I don't mind. It's not a big deal.
He's just giving himself a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah.
To like make things to like
Yeah.
keep it going.
You really
somehow.
gotta think about it.
I feel like they don't want to be embarrassed, right? He doesn't want to be, because it would be embarrassing to say, "I'm unemployed and don't do anything."
Yes.
I have no
And I
driver's
think it's
license.
also that like by comparison, I had an impressive career. I was already working in games, so
exactly.
he's like, well, I have to make something up that's cool, but I didn't care. He was like, but you don't though. Like I don't
Oh, it's all
care.
for their own egos.
I think so.
Sadly, not for anyone else's.
Yeah.
I think it's just creating a mental space that you can live in where you don't have to confront reality.
Absolutely.
Whether
Yeah.
that's crashing your girlfriend's car, or not having a job, or not being on a rugby team.
I want to know
Lying
what
about having a driver's license. Like, he drove me places.
Oh,
It's
boy,
like,
that's
you,
scary.
You could have killed me. It's not just like lying. I don't know. It was crazy. It was crazy.
Bruce.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
you
top
had- you had some
that.
shit happen to you.
I mean, like emotionally, yes, lots and lots of things, but
Yeah, we need the pop. We need the physicality.
But physically,
Yeah.
physically. Well, there was I think I've told the story before on a podcast where when I broke my finger with lifting weights. Did you guys ever hear that?
that happened
Oh,
during.
It happened when I was here.
I don't know if you ever.
I've heard that story. It's
Yeah,
very
I
gross.
wasn't sure if
Maybe
I
it
told
happened
that
then.
story on content. I may have. So
Oh, we're in RT podcast territory now, man. This is episode 187. Fuck it. There can be a repeat story.
I'll try and go fast through it. It's basically like Full Screen has a gym that you can go to and lift weights. And I don't know, have you been to the Full Screen
Yeah.
gym? They have the weight machines that basically have the plates that are layered, and you can put a little pin in.
Oh, no.
How like if I want to lift 40 pounds, you move the pin down, or I want to lift 30 pounds or whatever. And I would go all the time. I'd been to that gym 50 times. And I kind of knew the quirks of the machines because that gym is not well kept. One of the times I went to the weight machine, I kind of noticed that the weights would stick, and I knew that about the machine. So what I used to do was I used to it was like literally a trap. I had to like bang it and I'd wait for the last plate to fall down. So all the plates would be on the bottom because gravity would take them all the way down. But there'd always be one that was stuck. It was a 5-pound plate and it was stuck there. So I'd always have to bang it, and it'd fall down, and then I would lift weights. There was one time I forgot, and there's one time I forgot about the plate that was stuck to the top. And so what I did was I was trying to like move the pin down. I couldn't move the pin, and so what I had to do was I had to press down on. It was this hand. I had to press down with my left hand on all of the plates, and then pull the pin out, right, like just like a trap, and pull the pin out. And then when I did that, I was like, all right, so I got to press this down, pull it out, and then I can move it to wherever I want to go. So I pulled it out, and the 5-pound slammed down on the very tip of my finger. It wasn't even in the middle. If it had been in my hand, I wouldn't have broken anything.
Yeah.
No, it's
It would
flatter.
have hurt, but it wouldn't have broken anything.
Yeah.
It actually slammed down on the very tip of my finger, and it like broke it right away. And
Like you knew it was broken right away?
Immediately. And
Yeah.
I held it up, and it was all bloody, and, and it was just like fucked. And I was like, holy shit, this hurts so much. And it was the
Oh
same
my
story
God.
where before I had to sit at a Rite Aid for like 2 hours
Yeah.
and wait for them to give me pain medication. I was just sitting there as it was throbbing, and like it was the kind of throbbing that you feel sick, you feel like you're gonna throw up because you're in so
Yeah.
much pain.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've ever been in that much pain. And I went through like hours of surgery and all sorts of other things, but
It's a very specific kind of pain.
it was
Bone trauma.
It was.
It's
I cut my
something
hand
else.
open one time and still got a scar from it, trying to slice an amiibo in half. but it was with a hacksaw, and I just like cut it, and it was like a pretty solid amount.
Oh, you're
like,
holding the saw in one hand and the amiibo
yeah, and like trying to
in your
cut because I got
hand.
frustrated because it's really hard to cut.
Don't cut
And
it
so I
with
was
your
just
hand.
like, and it was so much blood, but it didn't hurt at all in a way that I was just staring at it like
It's weird, right?
burning.
That's, yeah, because you'll just bleed for a long time and then it'll hurt later.
Yeah.
This was not that.
I feel like it was a shock situation where I was like, oh no, that's a lot of blood and there's a bunch of skin.
Yeah.
All right.
Those are like a clean cut. That's how you know there's no pain. It's usually a clean cut. This was not.
pretty deep,
This was
but,
not. This
yeah.
was a. I had shattered the bone.
Ugh.
Tip of my finger.
God,
Because
that's
I went and
so
got it X-rayed.
gnarly.
He was like, yeah, that's broken.
How do you fix that? You just tape it up?
You put a brace on, and then like basically wear the brace for 6 weeks. Little plastic thing.
Oh,
And I did.
God.
And it was fine. And it's fine now. It took a while to come to like get back into bending territory.
Yeah.
Flex it all.
Yeah, all good.
Intense.
Yeah.
Moving on from this horrific topic.
Let's move on to lighter territory. Bruce lost control of his fingers for a little bit, but somebody on the internet lost control of something far more dear. And hold on, I gotta.
Where'd
it
you
go?
have a prop?
Oh wait, I left it at my desk. Oh man.
What is it?
I'm disappointed.
Yeah, I actually don't know of anyone that can go get it aside from me.
Usually
Not
that'd
even
be me.
Omar?
That would be me, and I'm here.
I can go get it. I'll just unplug.
I think he's going.
Yeah.
I'll go. What is it?
It's under my monitor stand. It's a piece of paper.
Okay, I'll be right.
Printout. It's a DeviantArt post.
Oh, it's Sega Dreamcast magazine.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, so I have something for Bruce to read. Another tale of woe from the internet about loss. But first, I guess we can. Oh God. This is really sad. It's a 20-minute video about how games journalism has died or whatever. The irony is it was never alive in the first place.
That's true.
Nailed it. Done.
Man. Okay, so Alana spent a lot of time at IGN, and before that, actually, let's hear your credentials here. What has been your path through games journalism?
I've been in games media for 7 years now. I started out as a volunteer writer, and then moved on to like volunteer working on radio and video in Australia, and then started studying journalism and entertainment while I was still volunteering. And then I started writing freelance for magazines, and I did that for about 2 years, and then was just freelancing, writing, working on TV. Working on radio, and then I eventually got a full-time job working on TV in Australia, still hosting a radio show, occasionally writing for places, and then moved to IGN 3 years ago, and now I'm here.
What publications and stuff? Because I'm curious. What publications and stuff were you at before IGN?
So the company that I was working at before IGN directly before was called RealFeed, which is technically a network, but I had written for I'd written for Kotaku, I think I'd written for IGN before I started. Yeah.
Cool.
So just the freelance stuff was like everything, but the first magazine that I had written for was called Hyper Magazine, which is just a popular games magazine in Australia. So
Cool.
yeah, kind of lots of stuff.
My experience is largely similar. A lot of volunteer stuff to start.
Yeah.
Then like rev share stuff for just like pennies per story. Then starting flat rate kind of thing. Moving up into companies that are just farming out content. Specifically, I guess the break was at Machinima. There was a wave where, I don't know why, but they wanted to get on Metacritic desperately, and they met with the people who ran Metacritic, and they just threw out, like they had like 10 reviews, and they were like, hey, we're Machinima, what's it gonna take for us to get on Metacritic? And they just said, you're gonna need like 1,000 reviews. Just something
Damn.
like, just leave the room. You guys are not. So they went, 1,000 reviews, you got it. So
no.
they basically just started like farming it out to every writer they possibly could. And I was one of them, great. I was happy to get the work. I didn't really mind. But anyway, that's kind of what got me into Machinima, and then working with Bruce, and then writing for Inside Gaming Daily, and now here. The thing is, though, I feel like you and I have spent a lot of time around games writers or people who call themselves games writers. And there's a whole lot of stuff in that scene that's kind of busted that there's not a whole lot of reason to talk about on a common basis, but it's particularly topical because of what happened last week. Filip Miucin over at IGN basically got caught plagiarizing a wholesale. He claims that it's not, and I think that's kind of the mark of...
I think he said it was not intentional.
Yes, which means Filip doesn't understand what plagiarism is. Which
I think it means Philip's lying.
well, yeah. Well, so I could read it as he genuinely doesn't know what plagiarism is.
Maybe he thinks it's copy pasting.
I changed the words. He's basically doing what high school writers do when they have to
Right.
do a book report,
Yeah.
which is take the Wikipedia article, change around some of the words, swap some of the sentences, boom, it's my writing. No, it's not. Anyway, so the timeline is there's a YouTuber, Boomstick, alleges plagiarism from his review. IGN fired Miucin, removes the review, issues a statement about it. Then on
Happened,
Saturday,
I think in like 24 hours too. They did it pretty
it
quick.
was very quick.
Yeah.
Then Miucin smells. I'm gonna imply a lot here. Smells blood in the water. Sees his springboard. Publishes a kind of non-apology. It's a lot of walk back kind of stuff. He's like, it's been erased already. It lived for about 4 hours and he took it down.
Yeah, I reached out to him when he had published the video because it was like, oh, this is the worst apology video I've ever seen. And that he called out Jason Schreier from Kotaku for digging into it. It was like, oh, yeah, look for more stuff. And Schreier has, and he's found more stuff.
Yeah,
He's like, but he also like brought up people attacking his family, which is awful. But it's also just, you don't make an apology from the perspective of being defensive. Like, at least wait until you're not defensive anymore. And I messaged him, didn't know him very well, but worked with him for, I think it was 9 months or so. And I was like, you should take this down and you should apologize properly. This is not going to go well for you. Like, I highly advise against doing this. This is bad. Like, you need to own this. And I think, and I said this as well, I was like, I'm not sure if he did this for views. Like, I called him out on that, and he was like, I didn't do it for views. It was
I think it was monetized, though.
It was monetized.
Yeah.
And he calls out his own YouTube channel explicitly. Says like, all of this here is my content.
Yeah, he also
you want
said at the
people to look
end
at it.
something along the lines of like, yeah, I'm gonna, continue making content for you guys. So it is promotional. I don't think he's that conniving as a person, but it's like hard for me to say. But I did call him out for that. And he was like, absolutely not. And then he was just like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I don't know how to approach this. And I was like, I understand. Just take a break and apologize.
Yeah, I think on that topic specifically, I think he was just following the game plan. Like, that's what you do. Everybody issues a sort of self-promoting apology video, so he's just doing it. Kind of in the way that if you want to get into games media, you become a writer. And it seemed like he was just following that template too. I don't know. It's funny too because there's a quote from the apology video that he issued. Said, "Quote: The formula stays the same for whatever excuse me. Let me start over. It's kind of far away. Yeah. The formula stays the same for whatever product I'm reviewing. I do as much research as I can about it, whether it's a game, a product, or an event. I try to look at all resources that I have available to me before I start formulating my own critical opinions so that I can offer the most cohesive possible review. The bottom line is that what happened to the Dead Cells review was not at all intentional." So
I think he also said that his review system was not that different to other reviewers, which I think it super is. Anything that I've ever reviewed, I will try to avoid reading any other opinions because I can be swayed really easily. Like, especially with people that I slightly agree with, I'll be like, oh, I totally agree with that. And I could see how it would be unintentional. You can take someone's idea accidentally and because it validated your own or you thought that it was yours. That can happen. It can't happen in a thing that's written the same.
No.
Like, it doesn't work that way.
yeah.
The sentence structure and everything. Like I read the articles and
Yeah.
they were so similar.
Yeah.
it was
And
like
consistently, like if it were like a couple of sentences, maybe it'd be
Yeah.
like, okay, yeah, it makes sense that you'd have those two after each other, but the whole thing is just exactly the same.
It was the case for all, like, I think, I'm trying to remember the other games. It was like
the other
Samus
ones?
Returns,
FIFA.
FIFA.
Yeah.
And it was all like the same kind of thing. It's like just similar structured all the sentences, just switching words around and stuff. And it's just
adding more words
Yeah,
in.
exactly.
to be honest with you, I don't know anybody that does editorial reviews that goes and reads every other review. I wrote editorial reviews for years for Attack of the Show, and that was actually I did exactly the same thing. I avoided everything because I didn't want to know. I couldn't be swayed. But what I was worried about was accidentally dropping in things that I read on other reviews into my review.
Yeah.
So I didn't do that.
Yeah.
What I did used to do was I used to write the whole review, make sure it was all basically like written and done, and then I would go to other reviews and see if I was way off.
I sometimes would too, and that, like, especially after publishing, I'd always be like, let me read everyone else's to see, like, am I insane?
Right, because
sometimes you want to know if you've forgotten something.
Yeah, totally.
But
I mean, because I trust there are other I always trusted CNET. CNET was like a really good resource for technology reviews, and so I would write my review, make sure it was like made sense to me logically. Then I'd read theirs, and I'd be like, if I disagree with them opinion-wise, I'd be like, whatever.
That's fine.
No big deal. I don't know anybody else, and I know a lot of games writers at XPlay and G4 and Attack the Show and all that. They didn't do that.
No.
They did not go and read other reviews.
I think it's a terrible idea,
Yeah.
but it's crazy with that one because that was technically the only other review up because the YouTuber had broken embargo by a week. If that hadn't happened, Philip never would have been caught because I think for IGN he had only reviewed ports. He'd reviewed Switch ports. I'm not sure if that's 100% true, but I'm of the impression he'd only reviewed like the Wolfenstein port and the Doom port. And the way that port reviews work there is if you agree with the original body, you just like update it with a paragraph being like, yeah, I agree with this, and here's like my extra paragraph, and then like you change the score. So he didn't really, he was effectively allowed to plagiarize the previous IGN review, And it's just like, you just add the part about the Switch. Like, I think that's pretty much how that works. But with this, it was like, there's only one other review out. If that guy had never broken embargo, he would have had to have written his own review, and he probably never would have gotten caught, and no one would have known.
Not to side with him,
No.
but it sounds like if he was doing that all the time, he thought that was the right way
This is how
to
it
do
works.
it.
A lot of people do.
Maybe he did.
Yeah.
I from my like volunteer, even into paid writing days, that's how a lot of them work, because they're not writers, and they were never taught to be writers.
He was definitely not a writer. He was a
Yeah.
YouTuber with
Oh.
a channel that had 9 months of experience that just managed to get a job. Like, he didn't have writing experience. It was a thing that like some people called out when he was like first hired me, like, I don't think this guy can write. His work had to be edited a lot. So it was like, blatantly, he was not a writer, like straight up. He wasn't trying to be, I don't think.
Yeah, and a lot of the people that I worked with, crawling through the ranks of volunteer websites and stuff, none of them are writers either. Nor did they want to be. That was incidental. They just wanted some kind of work in games media.
Yeah.
And writing seems like it has the lowest barrier to entry, and it kind of does. If you have a keyboard and any kind of text editing, you can be a games reviewer. But that points to a lot of issues that I have with games reviews, and the fact that I don't read them and haven't liked them for a very long time.
I don't read them either.
Yeah, a lot of them are written by non-writers, which I find it interesting. Even in his apology video, Filip still uses a bunch of boilerplate vocabulary, and you can, God, game reviewers smack this stuff because they read each other's stuff so much. He said formulating instead of forming, because that's just a word that they overuse. Says cohesive, because that's a dumb word that reviewers use a
I
lot.
use the word cohesive.
Yeah, I mean, it can mean something in context, but there are certain words that are overused. It reminds me of like, this was such a hot minute, but there was like a moment, I think it was like 2013, where everyone suddenly learned what draconian meant.
Yeah.
Everyone was cramming it in everything, because
Yeah.
everyone had groupthink. It's just so weird. But yeah, I think, Bruce, to what you said, he genuinely didn't think it was wrong, because no one told
Maybe.
him.
Yeah, I didn't
No one
consider
trained him
that.
to be a writer.
Well, and I was going to say that. I know. Did you study journalism in college?
Yeah.
You did. I know. Obviously, I know you did, Alana. I didn't. And so when I wasn't taught to be a writer, I just sort of knew the rules of journalism. So when I started it, I was like, oh, well, it makes sense to me because it's supposed to be unbiased, and here are the ways it's unbiased.
Yeah.
And that was basically that. I just knew those rules because of common sense. I think is probably, and I had learned them along the way.
I guess it's possible that he didn't even
I was going to say,
know
I don't
that.
know that a lot of people know that. And if you're hired to be a games journalist, and all of a sudden someone's like, write a review, you're never going to say, oh, I can't do that. I won't be unbiased. No one's ever going to do that. They're going to be like, oh, hell
course,
yeah.
yeah.
All right, a games review. I love video games. So,
Yeah.
and so they'll jump on it. They totally will.
IGN has like a lot of very specific rules for stuff like that, where like if you're friends with a dev or you visited their studio, you can't review their game. And I think
good.
that's really
Okay.
good.
That's
It's
good,
like
yeah.
if you knew the team closely, you are off limits, you can't do it. And I think that's really good. And like reviewing games at IGN was also really hard. Like it takes a lot of time, and you often have a really small amount of time to do it. I saw actually a lot of comments giving him sympathy, being like, well, what are the conditions? It's like, yeah, it's hard, but you're still playing games for a living.
Yeah.
Like it's not like he's in a sweatshop. Like
Yeah.
it's
Or
not,
doing
there's no
it
excuse for
gunpoint.
it.
Yeah.
I hadn't considered that he didn't realize it was plagiarism.
That doesn't make it not plagiarism. That's where it gets weird. Like, you were still hired to do a job, and just because people trusted you to know how to do that job and you didn't, that doesn't make it not your fault.
Oh, absolutely.
It's totally his fault.
Yeah, so like,
Because it's also, that's like one thing I saw the internet talking about is like, well, IGN should be testing for this. You can't check YouTube videos like everywhere for plagiarism. It's just not a thing. Like they could do a better job of hiring someone who has written experience. Like obviously that's a no-brainer, but like you can't put a plagiarism checker through every single YouTube video or suggest an editor watch every YouTube video on the topic. It's just not possible.
or on top of that, you can't even really afford a staff of quality trained writers to crank out the volume of material that websites often need.
That's
especially
totally
for
the
rates
biggest
they
thing.
need.
It's like games writers don't get paid anything.
And I mean, perhaps they deserve more, but it's not really about that. The market doesn't really have a lot of money flowing through it for written games coverage.
Yeah.
Some people will dispute that, I'm sure, but I don't know. I follow a lot of people, a lot of writers I like on Twitter, and they're, I think very rightly, frequently upset at the lack of paying work for what they do. That's just kind of the free market. I don't know. It's interesting to see the split in perception. A lot of people argue that written games coverage needs to exist because it is valuable. Fine. But it is enthusiast press to the nth degree.
Totally.
To have somebody like spend 20 minutes reading words about an entertainment medium, or even a work in an entertainment medium, yeah, it's going to be a pretty small group of people that are qualified enough to do that and get paid to do that.
Yeah.
So
I wrote a few things at IGN that took me like 6 months to write, like 6 months to interview 20 people, which is what I would actually consider journalism.
That's-
But even that doesn't necessarily pay well because it takes you a really long time and won't guarantee views. So any employer is going to be like, well, how do we know this is worth our time? It's like, sure.
I would say any journalist at a newspaper would be saying the exact same thing. They're not getting paid, hundreds of thousands of dollars to do, exposés on Donald Trump.
Right.
They're doing it because they care.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
Which I think is cool.
Yeah.
Well, not to nitpick, but journalism is in a weird spot now, where Donald Trump does actually bring in a lot of views and eyeballs.
That's true too.
Yeah, you're right about that.
But yes, in the past, there have been a lot of people doing very hard work, like even at city level stuff. Like, this guy stole a lot of money from the water district of California. And everybody's like, I don't give a shit, man. There's porn on the internet. Did you know that?
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's a lot of, I'm not going to say that, games journalists are doing it for the love of craft.
Some are.
They're doing it for the love of video games, but not the craft of writing. Okay. Is what I would say about.
I think there's probably a
99%.
split. Yeah, I do think that a lot of games media is because they love games, not necessarily because they love journalism. And someone had made a joke about me once that was like, "Oh, one of the rarest degrees in games journalism." Just like, yeah, it's really uncommon. Just because you don't need it to get into the industry, because everyone wants to get into the industry, so it's like they just keep hiring up these younger people over and over again and training them up and then just moving on to the next ones. It's like that cycle just never ends.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I put together a list of grievances that I've largely gone through already.
Ooh.
One of the, a couple of other bullet points I never got to. That writers that are hired rarely have the bank of knowledge to talk about games credibly. Most people that play games play what they like, which is fine. I think if you graduate to another level of appreciating it, you'll play games you don't like just because you want to understand them. It's kind of like movies. If you really love movies, you're not only going to watch the genres you like, you're going to watch everything.
Yeah, I was playing every game so that I had an opinion on every game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of writers or reviewers do that. Willingly go through that education of being like, I'm going to play this entire series all the way back to the 80s or whatever.
No, that would be really uncommon.
Yeah.
For everyone, but like every game release I think is pretty standard, but you maybe only play like 2 hours.
Yeah.
So it's like you play
Just
every
enough to
game
get
so
it.
that you're like, I know what this is, but actually going back into a history of something, probably not.
Yeah. And then, there was the other aspect of like, a lot of game reviewers will read a lot of game reviews and then write towards that rather than developing their own style, because that requires a little bit of courage and artistic direction.
Yeah.
It's way easier to just copy
my biggest
what's already
criticism of games media is, and we were talking about this before, but that I think a lot of games journalists write for other games journalists in a way that it's like, I'm writing this because my peers on Twitter will find it interesting and not because the audience will find it interesting. And that is, like, I've always been caught in this war. I started a YouTube channel 3 years after I was working in games media. So as soon as that happened, I was in this strange war of where YouTube meets games media, and they both just hate each other. And there's things that YouTubers do really well, which is actually pay attention to what their audience wants and interact with their audience and like make content for that audience. And I think like that's one thing that games journalism could learn from what YouTube does correctly or what new media does correctly. Whereas with games media, it's just so much of like, well, but here's what my peers will like. Maybe I'll get an award for this, and I hate that. It's like it doesn't. Sure, maybe I like what you've read, being in the circles where I'm friends with a lot of those people, but I don't think that that's effective when you're not writing for the people in your audience. They can also be really hard to write for, though. Sometimes you just get mad about everything. You're like, I thought this was perfectly safe, but you're angry at me. I don't know what you want.
That's the internet, though.
Yeah, it's true.
That's the way the internet works.
I guess I never thought about it that way. I can see how it is funny. I always remember being a kid and wondering where like games culture would go, because there wasn't much of one. It was just me and whatever kids at school I could find to talk to about it. And I always wondered, will it get to the point where like there was like a cool crowd who play like indie video games and look down on people who play popular games?
Yes.
Will there be like
Yeah.
nose in the like nose in the air writers
Movies.
who look down on popular
Yeah.
games?
Yeah, it's a movie culture.
exactly the same.
It's movie culture.
We got there, everyone.
Yeah.
Still, I mean, like when games get that big, they're the biggest entertainment industry in the world, right? Larger than movies, larger than television.
Yeah.
So of course we're gonna get there. Same deal.
Yeah,
What if there are people who are like, I don't like GTA, it's too popular. That's
Yes,
probably a thing.
100% there
Yeah.
are.
Like video game hipsters.
Yeah.
There are lots of those. I've met lots.
How do you think they dealt with Minecraft? They're like, for the
Oh,
first
God.
2 years when it was alpha, it was great, and now it sucks.
Yeah.
Like, what was the switch for them when they're like, it's not cool anymore?
That's
Yeah,
music.
where's the
Yeah,
switch?
you're right, it is.
Because there's a new popular thing every year.
Yeah.
So there's just like infinite generations of video game hipsters going all the way back.
I don't know, Jacob. You haven't said much. Not that you need to, but I don't know. What's your take on all this? You don't seem. How much games journalism have you consumed in your life?
I mean, not too much. Maybe when popular games come out, like maybe there'll be another Halo or something. I'm like, oh, Halo. Well, I'll see if, like what people are saying about it and
Yeah,
stuff.
there
like,
is a new one of those coming.
yeah, I'm super excited. Halo Infinite.
Jacob also gets excited about everything
I
because he's
do.
just
That's
generally positive.
It's a good quality to have.
Positive guy.
Yeah. So I enjoy so many things, but I mean, it's a pretty vanilla amount of like games journalism consumption. I mean,
I feel like that's the norm.
Yeah.
Which is why I find it so odd that it's, I don't know, that all of the big games media sites aren't trying to go into the direction of personality. Like, I feel like that's the way the industry is headed in, and it's like,
I've seen them try.
Yeah, and they just can't. It
Yeah.
just doesn't work.
it's like
it's a different skill
the
set.
times that I
Yeah.
do consume anything, I'm usually like just between things that I actually care about. It's like, okay, I'm on the toilet or something. I want to flick through Kotaku or something and see what there is. No, there's nothing. I'm out of here.
Okay.
It's stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like,
So you're the rare person who actually plays games as opposed to getting mad about them on the internet.
yeah, I do like playing video games, yes.
Good for you, Jacob.
But yeah, I think I don't really spend too much time reading about stuff. But like when there's things I'm genuinely interested in and I want to like hear some other opinions about it, just to like see what how like my thoughts compare. I mean, luckily I'm not like writing a review or anything, so I don't have to worry about being influenced that much. But sometimes I'm just curious about what other people are thinking and saying.
Yeah,
So
I get that.
Cool. Well, this podcast is also sponsored by Movement. It's time for journalism or something. Movement claims that they have not only introduced tons of new watch collections for both men and women, but they've expanded to sunglasses and fashion-forward bracelets.
Chloe, what do you need?
Here they are. Wait. Yeah, I got it. Haha. I wore my watch and I wore this glasses.
Here, hold on, I'll wear them.
whoa,
You can wear 'em.
I'll wear them.
Be a cool beach boy with your watch and your sunglasses. Wow.
cool.
You guys do look cool.
Cool bros telling the time and not getting sun in our eyes.
Are those women's sunglasses?
No,
I don't think
No,
so.
no.
these are either they're unisex or they're men's. Come on, Alana.
They look manly to me.
Look how cool I look.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good point. Yeah.
Oh, check it out.
Oh, that was cool.
Yeah.
Damn,
Finger gun.
manly.
Whoa.
Point being between this watch and these sunglasses that Movement actually updates their lines pretty often. In the past when they'd advertise, I'd go through, pick out some stuff, order it up, feel like I was set. No, they proved me wrong. Around I want to say every 4 months or so, they have like new lines up. So if you looked in the past and maybe didn't find a watch you liked or a pair of sunglasses you liked or a bracelet that you liked, you should check it out again because they are updating all the time. They started just $95 for a nice watch. It's a good gift or a good accent piece if you're trying to develop your fashion game. And it's simple, which I'm all about. I don't need text messages on my wrist. No, thank you. Talk to me in person. Find me. It's part of a game that I play. You can get 50% off your Movement order today with free shipping and free returns if you happen to not enjoy your product when going to movement.com/dudesoup. Once more, that's 15% off, free shipping and free returns at movement.com/dudesoup. That's mvmt.com/dudesoup. So thank you, Movement, for the sponsorship and for the sweet sunglasses. I really want to take those, but I feel like I need them to keep them
They're
here
awesome.
for ad reads.
Actually,
look
that's,
nice
I like the
quality.
sunglasses.
Acetate, not plastic. It actually makes a difference. They feel a little weightier. I feel like I won't snap them. I don't know. I break a lot of things, myself included, in my life.
Yeah.
You know that?
Yeah, we learned
Got
that.
Alana's only been here a few weeks, and she already
Yeah,
knows
already
that.
Again,
Yeah.
it's that one time I sneezed and snapped the handle off my refrigerator.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. There's always that. Okay, so this is gonna sound self-aggrandizing, and it's not meant to be. But there's always that scene in every Superman movie where he realizes he has superpowers.
You're not Superman,
Usually
though.
by just crushing some mundane object.
You're wearing a
right?
sling.
Like, maybe that's just to fool you. Clark Kent probably wore a sling once or twice,
I don't know that he did.
and everyone bought into it.
I don't think he did.
Well, maybe.
I don't think so.
I think that'd be funny though, right?
You wish.
Anyway.
Yeah, I like about this refrigerator handle. It
Yeah, he's
sounds-
like,
I'm going to be impressed.
He's opening the refrigerator and it just pops off. He's opening the car door and the whole door pops off and he looks around.
Oh, yeah, I know what you
"Whoa."
mean, yeah.
Yeah, it's basically that every week with me. Except I break
But
something
to
valuable.
yourself.
And,
And then it
people are like,
gets hurt.
motherfucker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then
And I
too
pretend
strong.
to get hurt. So nobody suspects.
I don't want to hit you to find out if you're actually hurt, so I'm not going to do it.
You caught me in the taco place, you clapped me on the shoulder and I was like,
Oh, that's right. I apologize.
you totally missed the sensitive area.
Fucking
But
shit.
it's funny too because Stephanie will forget, in the span of about 20 minutes, forget if I'm injured anywhere and then just like really dig in.
Blaine does that to me constantly. Yeah.
Oh,
He'll
probably
like
sore from the
accidentally
gym
hurt me
and
when I'm
stuff?
already sore. Yeah.
Yeah, that's happened to me before. I got when I was in high school, I got surgery. I had like there's a scar right there.
Oh,
it was like
yeah.
a little like some kind of calcium
Showing off those
deposit or
guns.
something.
What?
It was like
You got a horn growing out of your arm?
no, but it Like it made the skin look like that, kind of weird and like almost translucent. You could feel an object under the skin.
Ew.
And it felt like there was like a hole in my skin with something in the middle of it. And I got that removed, which is really weird because I was awake, and it took like 15 minutes.
They give you anesthetic, right?
Yeah, and it feels horrific because you feel a pulling
Yeah, you feel
on
all
your
the tugging
skin.
and slicing.
Yeah, it's a nightmare. But then I went back to school, and a very enthusiastic friend of mine ran up to me. He's like, "Jacob!" And he punched me in the arm right where the surgery was. And I was just sitting there like,
Just paralyzed.
Yeah.
Paralyzed with joy at seeing your old buddy again.
yeah.
Blech. All right.
I immediately started bleeding all over my shirt, so he knew what was up.
Oh, yikes.
That was weird.
That was Steven Suptic.
Steven Suptic, everybody.
Forgot that we were broadcasting.
All right.
Oh yes.
Oh, I'm pretty
Yeah,
excited.
we have nothing but sorrows today, Bruce. So here is someone,
Really long.
image hosted by Angel Fire,
Good.
which I think means that image link is down. But take it away, Bruce. This is somebody. Yes, thank you.
Wow.
Somebody coming to
What is this?
intense conclusions about what has happened in their life and what might be happening now. It's also dated 2005.
Okay. This post. Well, where was this?
This was on DeviantArt.
DeviantArt. Okay. This post is from Overthrown on DeviantArt.
I think that's the title of the. I'm not sure who it's from. The title of this passage is Overthrown. Sorry.
Oh, okay. The title.
should say this better.
Almost 13 years ago to the day, Monday, August 1st, 2005. I don't know what good rumors are right now. There's a lot of talk going on about what happened to Jark, the co-founder of DA. One such rumor is that he was overthrown as president of DA by, there's a link there, and
dead.
that Spied has some seriously radical plans for DA now that he's in power. I don't know how to feel right now, but if these rumors are true and that Jark was overthrown in a hostile takeover, then I'm afraid I might have to leave. You see, I've been overthrown too, and I know what it feels like. Several years ago, I learned my college had an anime night. I was thrilled, since anime was really important to me and I had a rather large collection to share. I was disappointed at how the president ran the club, though. We only had a few people show up each week, about 3 to 4. He was inconsiderate, rude, showed only movies he liked, which were usually pretentious, artistic, art house style animes, which make you want to bang your head on something.
I know, right?
The worst. He slowly began leaving the anime club to focus more on his studies, and thus I was handed the throne. It was quite a red letter day for me, and I vowed I would do everything to turn the club around. Spent weeks planning out themes, finding the right animes to show, learning the controls of the projector, making audio CDs to play during breaks, promoting it with flyers, creating info sheets for the specific anime we were showing, and just doing everything I could to make it better. I did that for 2 years.
Wow.
What a sacrifice.
That anime club sounds pretty legit.
I mean,
Yeah,
it sounds
well
fun.
run.
But
Oh.
But
around the 3rd year, I was getting a bit desperate.
Oh, no.
I was running low on anime, and my college life was interfering with running the club.
Bullshit. Sacrifice that life.
I needed help. So I turned to one of my friends, quote, at the time.
Drama.
Slowly, he began to take control. He would run the projector, announce breaks, and even contribute to the club. But as time passed, I realized he was doing more than just that.
What?
At meetings, he would always find a way to top what I said or say something after me.
Bitch.
He would insert movies he liked rather than what people wanted to see. He started promoting himself as the club president when in fact, I had not given him that title. He started showing more risque movies, which I was not allowed to show due to a prior conflict with the school. What the hell?
They tried to show hentai and got in
What
trouble.
happened there?
That's exactly what that means.
Most of the new anime he showed were fan service type and had no real content to them.
classless.
He even was able to get us a budget from the college to spend on buying new anime, later to be donated to the library. Anime which mysteriously stayed in his collection afterwards. It sounds like this guy was actually really good at running
Yeah,
anime.
he was
Yeah.
fucking.
And the other guy
acing
wanted
it.
to watch hentai and got fucked. Before I realized what was going on, I had completely lost control. He was a pretty boy and flirted with all the female members,
all the
Females.
The
females.
females.
gaining their support against
no.
me.
Oh, I turned him against you.
He got so many people on his side that my efforts were futile and I left.
Damn women's.
In the year that I had posted him as my helper, he'd managed to seize from me one of the most important things I had ever done. I cannot watch anime anymore thanks to him.
Oh my
It just
God.
brings back so many hateful and hurtful memories. So I know what it's like to be overthrown. It's not pleasant. It hurts deep inside and you never see it coming. I sure didn't see it coming, though looking back in retrospect, I should have. If something like this has happened to Jark and Spide is responsible, then I'm afraid my sympathies are with Jark. And I don't know how I'd feel contributing to this website that is run by someone who's taken power over another person involuntarily. That's wrong. Like I said earlier, I don't know what to think, as no one is giving me any answers. I really just want to know what happened and what will happen to DA now that Jark is gone. If it becomes a popularity contest like Spide seems to be implying, then that's final, and I'll look for someplace else to post my art. Keep your cool, read between the lines, and listen carefully. That's my only advice. Peace out.
Injustice.
I really like the part where they
Tragedy.
were worried because they were running out of anime.
The wellspring
it was running out of anime.
dry.
A prior conflict with the
prior-
school just hentai.
He was 100% looking at
Yeah, you
porn.
just played
Somebody
hentai.
complained because I was watching porn with the volume all the
No,
way
it's
up.
hentai.
Sorry.
It's art.
It's art.
Yeah.
You're right.
It's different.
It can explore themes. All right. Porn is just machinery.
It sounds like the second guy was really good at running it, though.
He was really good at running Anime Club, obviously, because he not only ran a sweet club with budgets and got a bunch of people in, but then also females liked him.
Yeah, females.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's hard to do.
Yeah.
That implies at least
Managing
two.
a lot.
Slow takeover.
Yeah, more than one. Yeah.
Yeah, he even worked the system, so worked them all. Got those free anime
got
DVDs.
funding.
It sounded
Got
to me
the
like
females on his
he
side.
was the better president.
The alpha nerd.
The second guy didn't know was that the first guy wrote the same thing about him
Yeah.
before that.
Wow.
Some say the cycle is still continuing today.
Yeah.
Just like Neo in the Matrix.
It's like the Sith.
Like Neo in the Matrix.
That's it.
The apprentice comes up, usurps the master, and it makes sure that the strongest anime nerd is always in control. You got to be strong out there.
Gotta get 3 females on your side.
I like that he put fan service anime.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's porn.
Trash. Whatever. We don't need broad appeal. We got anime on our side. Anime just shows about cooking. This show is sponsored by Blue Apron. There's your segue. Blue Apron sponsors this show. They don't sponsor our anime club yet. Blue Apron. But their mission is to make incredible home cooking accessible to everybody. I can attest, since starting Blue Apron, I've been cooking at home a lot more. It's been nice to get out of my crappy single dude thing of having a bag of Funyuns and vodka for dinner.
Oh my god.
Don't knock it till you try it. No, it's not
Don't
good.
try it.
Food is better. They also push the universe towards getting a more sustainable food system, setting the highest standards for ingredients and building a community of home chefs. There is less food waste when you do Blue Apron. It can be, shopping as a single person is tough. I just learned that grocery stores have something called a bachelor loaf, which is a half loaf of bread, which is what I always wanted. But yeah, it's they don't make a whole lot of serving or a whole lot of food portions for the single person, especially the single person that's not trying to eat a lot. So I always had this trouble when I was single of buying a lot of food, making basically meals for 5 days of the week, and then it all start going bad. You won't have that problem with Blue Apron. And also, since Blue Apron sponsors this podcast a lot, I'm going to introduce you guys to the next episode of Cooking with Lawrence, where I share with you all of the hard-wrought knowledge that I get by cooking with Blue Apron. This week is, so I'm getting a little saucy, getting a little spicy, pun intended.
Ooh, saucy, yeah.
And spicy.
I'm mixing up my salts. Got different salts now. Got a little salt whale. It's cute. It's a little porcelain whale, and you have a little spoon and you get salt out of its mouth.
That's adorable.
Yeah, it's really, really cute.
Wait, it's a different kind of salt?
It is. It's larger grains of salt, like larger rock salt. I started with just iodized powdered salt, went up into the flakes, and now I'm experimenting with even larger grains of salt.
That's a textural delight.
It is. Thank you, Jacob. But Jacob, one of the problems is when you mix up your salt, the proportions are the same.
Okay.
So my advice to you is, even if you're just beginning to season, taste your food often and go in small steps until you get a feel for how much you need. Because I accidentally came very close to oversalting a dish because I just put on a little sprinkle, thought I was being cautious, but whale salt has some kick to it. So I wasn't prepared for that. I did taste it and I was like, oh, dang, that's right on the level. And I actually can eat really salty food, so it may have been way too salty for other people. But yes, taste your food, but be hygienic. Don't taste and then put the spoon back in. Unless you're
just
cooking
you
for
eating
yourself.
it. Yeah, then go
Yeah.
for it. It's fine.
But yeah, just watch out for that. Watch your salt size.
Good to know.
You're welcome.
Appreciate
You
it.
didn't
She
actually
didn't say thank you.
You're welcome, Bruce.
Okay.
But Blue Apron, thank you as well for teaching me these important lessons about salt. You can check out this week's Blue Apron menu and get your first 3 meals for free at blueapron.com/soup. which I'm going to say is probably the best vanity URL they possibly have.
I would agree.
BlueApron.com/soup. Get your first 3 meals for free, and check out all the menus and recipes coming up. They have like a Top Chef's tie-in. They just finished a Bob Burgers tie-in, which is really cool.
Ooh.
Quantum of Salsa burger. Was that,
Nice.
really?
Quantum of salsa?
Yeah, better than the movie. Sorry,
I
whoever
still
directed
don't know what
one.
that movie's about.
I don't know, man. Who cares?
Incomprehensible.
All right, BlueApron.com/soup. Thank you, Blue Apron. All right, let's get into hard Nettin.
There it is.
There.
I never noticed
Yeah.
that Cat 50 thing at the beginning of that hard net.
Yeah, Cat 5e, baby.
Oh, 5e.
Yeah,
pardon me.
that's carrying all the data, all the bits. All right, Lana, are you familiar with hard Nettin?
I am.
Oh, you are. Wow.
I am. Big fan of the show. It's my favorite segment.
All right, that's why it's at the end. Gotta get that watch time. So, what hot Pokemon trainer is the current champ?
Okay.
Oh, I'm not
the hell is
familiar.
this?
I'm not familiar with this one.
Oh yeah, hot Pokemon. I mean, it's basically what it says on the tin. Really, he's a hot Pokemon trainer.
So it's just a hot
Wait, it's
picture
a guy
of someone?
Yeah,
who's
is he though?
hot and plays Pokemon?
The guy is the self-professed hot Pokemon.
wanna
Then
see
why are
him.
there so many photos of women and children?
So there he is
that
there.
him?
That's our hot Pokemon trainer getting attacked by a little Beedrill there in the forest.
Blocking it with those
that is pretty cool.
forearms.
Yeah,
Yes.
he does get jacked up by Pokemon a lot. And he used to just take photos, but now he's divided it into stories and acts.
He's got white teeth.
Wow, he has ox?
So Arc 1, the Legendary Trouble, I did some reading. Given that this is the current champion, I wanted to get some research in. So Arc 1, I'm not going to lie, it's a little all over the place. Not the most directed of narratives. But Arc 1 begins, he meets up with Brock, who says, I need a pack for the trip, find a replacement, meet at the gym, let's meet back here in 3 days.
Cool.
In those 3 days, I don't know, he climbs a mountain, he goes to the woods, he gets licked by a ghost.
Ghastly.
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 Can I use Growlithe?
He fights a random Pokemon trainer. He gets people in his life, I guess, to pose for
I was going to say,
photos.
he knows a woman?
He knows several. I mean, he's a hot Pokemon trainer. man.
All right.
So
I'm aroused.
he and Brock hit the old trail there. They're ready to go.
What is that? I don't know what that
That's
is.
some new gen shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going. When it gets out of the original 150, I get a
He even
little
like
lost.
shadows them and stuff.
Yeah, the shadows are impressive.
Yeah.
So yeah, they have some
Geodude and Arcanine there.
rough travels. They get to a legendary Pokemon, which I guess was where they were going. That wasn't really quite established, but there's a rough fight with another trainer. Someone else shows up. There's like a weird orb there.
Wait, who's that big giant hand?
That's
Part of Lugia, I think.
Yeah, that's
Lugia's
the-
wing.
Oh,
the
yeah.
edge of
That's
the-
the legendary.
Hey, he's staying
Yeah.
consistent though. He's like keeping.
There's
staying
little
aware of
water
the
effects
space.
in there and everything.
Yeah, there's a little work
What's
here.
up with that kid?
It's just a little 10-year-old.
Why is he covered
little
in-
bro's turning 10, so that's hot.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
that's
so
when you
that
get
really
your
doesn't have
Pokemon.
anything to do with the story then.
Little hot Pokebro. Yeah, it's a little bit of an aside because the next picture is him
Oh.
getting lasered in the stomach.
Oh my god. Why does
and-
that never happen in the games?
He goes to the hospital, so he's all tore up there.
Wow.
Which somehow they let him take photos
He's in
in a
an
hospital.
actual hospital.
really
Yeah, I know.
Is this what you saw at the ER?
Man, I wish.
This guy is
There's a
pooping himself.
Pokemon.
Maybe that guy was shitting himself, got attacked by. Oh yeah, his name is Gray, by the way. That also wasn't quite revealed until this
Okay.
screen.
His Squirtle was stolen.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm glad you. That's the operative plot point here. Gray awakes in the hospital. Brock is there, not doing a whole lot. His Squirtle's stolen.
What is that picture of his
then he-
face?
Oh yeah.
Oh, he's remembering his Squirtle fondly.
Oh,
He's
his
reminiscing
bubble
on
bath.
the times with the
That's
Squirtle
very
there.
sad.
Oh, they had such a good time. Also, just
I don't know
one
what
close-up.
emotion that is.
It's sheer joy, Jacob.
Is it?
Yes.
It looks like he might be crying.
Yeah.
His eyes are teary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. Okay. Maybe this is him at current times, and here are all the happy memories that he has. With
Yeah, still unclear, but
All right. So then they go to the beach. A bit of an aside. He forgets about his
I guess
Squirtle
he
for a
was
little bit.
okay.
Yeah,
he seems
yeah.
fine actually.
Let's see here. Oh yeah, Professor Eden calls him.
I like that he changed one of his contacts' name to Professor Eden.
I made them call him.
I know.
You gotta
Crafty guy.
charge your phone.
He got some coordinates, which turns out was his living room.
That's convenient.
Oh yeah, and then there's a little meme tie-in here: Yodel Kid versus Hot Pokemon Trainer. It's-
Wow, he's actually there.
Yeah, he found him. So yeah, some brief photos, like he's chilling with his Bulbasaur. All right, then he goes into his living room. There's Pokemon there.
Does he have a fire sword?
Yes,
That's
he does.
not
It
canon.
looks like it.
I don't
Yeah.
think that's canon.
That
He's an
woman's
artifact
casting a spell.
Yeah, that's not canon either.
It's the Hot Pokemon Trainer canon.
Oh.
So he battles Jessie, vanquishes her with what I believe is also a Ratchet and Clank gun.
He killed her.
All right, yeah.
Knocked her out, put her in laser binds, and it's demanding to know where Squirtle is. So we're back on Squirtle now.
Oh, she stole Squirtle. Okay, I see.
Time to find out what she knows. I mean, maybe.
So how did Professor Eden know where she was in his living room?
That's a good question.
Plot
Maybe that'll
hole.
be revealed in Arc 2, The Legendary Trouble, which we haven't gotten to yet. So
Why is it called the Legendary Trouble again?
that's Arc 1 finish. If I scroll up a little bit, I'll make
got it.
sense.
He posted again.
Your precious Squirtle is long gone from here. Everything is going perfectly according to plan, says Jesse. So there's a plot
I see.
to abduct Squirtle, and that's where we have to leave off in this round of Hard Nettin. So yeah, that's the end of Arc 1.
Oh my gosh, whatever will happen next?
Arc
On
2,
the
the
edge
Grim
of my
Reality.
seat.
Grim
Oh,
reality.
geez. Please no more.
No more this
All right.
week, Bruce.
All right.
That is going up against. This is actually a pretty, I won't say well-known, but established.
Well, these
YouTube channel?
hashtags. Hashtag
Yeah, no,
Roblox,
he's
Naruto.
really trying to hit those search terms.
Flexing that
Hashtag
SEO.
Pokemon community.
So this is HJ Freaks.
Whoa.
HJ Freaks.
He's a fucking monster on the base.
You know which thumbnail to click first?
This one?
Yes,
Obviously.
Pegasus Fantasy base cover.
Censored, but I can do that. All right.
Hell yeah.
Oh my
Yeah, this-
goodness.
Oh boy, he just showed off a little too much there.
Yeah, he's got some goodies for sure. But he can slap out some licks. Let me tell you.
So he plays baseball dressed as a sexy lady? Is that the catch?
Well, not always sexy, but a lot of cute lady outfits. Yes,
He's pretty good.
he's very good.
He looks happy too.
Yeah, he does seem happy.
Yeah.
I'm happy
He's
for
just
him.
having fun.
He's having a good time. So that's a lot of guitars.
He is shredding as well.
Man, he is shredding.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's fucking
Cool.
on point.
Wow.
More,
super good.
please.
But yeah, like as you can see, there's a variety of fashions and styles here.
Whoa!
That's
That one on the bottom
that's
left.
a wide spread. Oh yeah, this one right here.
Wow.
I see a lot of straps
Well, it looks like some nice
and what
beach
looks
wear.
like a clown.
Does he play anything that we would know?
Yeah, maybe his
don't know
most
this?
popular song.
I mean, I like
It's a
it,
nice bikini.
but I don't know it.
Yeah.
One Piece,
All right,
whatever it is.
Sort by most popular.
Yeah,
I
One
saw
Piece most popular
AC/DC
video.
up there.
Oh
somewhere.
what? All right. Here.
Yeah, Back in Black, I saw that too.
Oh, okay.
Come on, baby. Something Dragon Force or something.
3.8 million
What is
views.
it? What song is it? Look at it.
That's probably just J-pop.
Okay, but I think it has 3 million views because it
Gangnam
straight
Style.
up looks like a lady in
Yeah,
there.
it actually.
Yeah.
Probably. They get in there
It's a
like,
good
I've
thumbnail.
been tricked.
It is a good
I
thumbnail.
forgot it. This is a classic, man. 2009.
It sounds like NWK, but it's not.
Yeah, I totally go to me.
Oh, it's K-On. Okay. Not that that makes
Okay,
sense.
now I don't recognize.
You know what it is now, Jacob? Big fan of K-On.
Oh yeah, totally.
He's really good.
Yeah, he's super good. Let me see actually on his about page. Maybe he has this.
There's a whole bunch of them in that though. In that thumbnail.
Oh, sorry. Oh, he's got a Nico.
The rated R super stupid bassist.
Ooh.
That's a really good tagline.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jacob, you were pointing out something.
Oh, I just saw multiple men in
Ooh.
one. There it is.
Oh yeah, bottom left.
Yeah, I don't
Oh.
know if it's just copy pasted
I think it's
layers.
copy-paste.
Dang it, I've been
I think-
fooled.
I think he's getting pretty good at those thumbnails.
That would have been a click from me.
Oh, we got a little.
Attack on Titan. Oh,
Attack on Titan?
Wow.
wow.
He's smiling.
Give me that smile, HJ.
Wow, he really went for it.
Yeah, look at this.
Still smiling.
How long is he gonna go for it? Is he still going for it?
Oh, the guy's gonna eat you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, no more background.
He's just gonna whip it out in front of the blue screen.
Yeah. That's my favorite Attack on Titan outfit.
Yeah, the little
Ooh.
camo miniskirt.
And a bra.
He's super good.
Yeah.
He is really good.
I'm actually very impressed.
I'm really glad he played on Attack on Titan too.
1.2 million views. People are on it. All right, it's time to bring it down to a vote.
Man, you fucking nailed that.
Hot Pokemon
Nailed it.
trainer. Bear in mind, if you vote him down, you will never know what happened to his Squirtle.
That's a good point.
And then HJ Freaks, the bassist phenom from Japan, who wears very cute clothing. Bruce, who are you voting for?
HJ Freaks for
Yeah?
that Attack on Titan rendition.
good.
Blew me away. Blew me away. And it also made me sad because Attack on Titan has changed their theme song every season.
This
And
most recent one's very chill.
Yeah, and it bums me out. I want to hear that.
sleepy.
That old one is so good.
I just want to see that video before every episode.
I'm fine with
Yeah.
that. I'm fine with that.
Alana, who would you be voting for? Whoa, Splatoon! Fuck yeah!
Whoa! Look at that kick he was doing.
This one's tough, but I think I'm also going to go with HJ Freaks.
HJ Freaks. That's 2.
I am very impressed by Hot Pokemon Trainer's shading and shadowing skills,
Yeah,
but it was the non-canon Fire Sword and the magic that really threw me off, you know?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
There was, I mean, not to make you re-guess your choices there, but there was at least a point in the arc where he received those items.
But why would they be in Pokemon?
I mean, why is
much.
anything? Elemental Sword, Plasma Gun, these are all things Pokemon. Well, Jacob, for record-keeping purposes, where's your vote going?
Quick out of the Hot Pokemon Trainer stuff. Let me get a good look at that real quick. Let me just run my eyes over it.
Like, that's really impressive, though, Bulbasaur with shadows.
Yeah, no, you're not bad at Photoshop.
Yeah, like, there's obvious effort there, but, oh, man, he's just having such a good time. HJ Freaks, he just, and then like,
I also don't like this.
yeah, mixing all this family stuff in with this narrative.
No, it's a dialogue.
Then play it.
Oh.
This is part of the narrative.
This might change my opinion. It's this.
If there's some motion graphics in here.
You thought Squirtle might be?
Well, what happened?
He wasn't there.
Was there anything else?
There was this woman, and she attacked me right off
HJ
the
Freaks.
bat.
He just stared straight at the camera.
She had long, pinkish
Why
hair.
is he
She was
spiking the
skinny.
lens?
I
He's
took her
looking at
down,
the-
and I used the
monitor?
restraint
Yeah.
you gave
He
me,
wants to make sure he looks
which,
okay.
By the
Okay,
way,
so look good?
worked perfectly.
No, I'm good. I'm still hot.
Obviously,
It's gotta be on brand.
HJ Freaks
Even
wins.
though my Squirtle wasn't there, she knew about my Squirtle.
Oh, this is so
What
boring.
did she say about Squirtle?
But talking about the Squirtle.
What did she say about the Squirtle?
Oh, we'll never know.
I
Get
do
outta
like.
here,
I
Hot
do
Pokemon.
like that he tried to be. I don't know. That's stupid. Whatever.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. It's not bad. Execution's not very good.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations, HJ Freaks. You've certainly freaked us with your HJ.
I don't think this is an HJ Freaks video.
No, I don't think it is either. It's just Splatoon covers.
I just
Which,
wanna
by
see
the way,
how-
Splatoon has fucking awesome music.
It does.
If no one knew that.
I just want to see how far HJ Freaks goes in this competition.
Where else is there to go?
Yeah,
He's already
I don't know.
mastered the bass and fashion.
Guaranteed he's done this nude. We just don't have the video on YouTube.
Yeah, that's true.
Guaranteed.
Yeah. I just want to see what gets cooked up next week to face HJ Freaks.
He's not too shabby.
Oh, yeah, by the way, Kiss Cactus is really loving his victory.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah, I'm
It's
glad.
amazing.
Still need to get that plaque all printed up. Is that one of these days?
Good.
But speaking of doing things one of these days, sometimes podcasts have to end. But we'll have another one next week. So, well, thank you guys for listening to this podcast. If you enjoyed it, I'd appreciate it if you recommend it to a friend, leave a rating, leave a review, or just go on with your day and have a good one. That's thanks enough for me. And we'll catch you next week. Goodbye, everybody. Oh, and if you're watching live, stay tuned for the post show. Holy shit, we got a lot of fan art to catch up on. So, look forward to that. Bye, everybody.
Farewell.
8 hardest netters from, boy, I shouldn't say it like that.
Whoa.
From the, man, everything, kind of plug this back in. Hold on. And the good thing is, you guys can vote.
Oh, wow.
So, that is not even,
That's special.
there we go. Got it. So yeah, eventually I'll show some clips.